This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sankeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. In Harris County, this is Gilbert Garcia with another tip for me, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Thank you very much, studio audience. And boy, do we have, as they say, I'm dating myself, Ed Sullivan. We have a really big show. As they say, Ed Sullivan, we have a really big show because who doesn't know what the World Cup is? It is everywhere. It is probably the single biggest sporting event in the entire world. And you know what's interesting about soccer is here in the U.S., I don't think we really understand how soccer goes back a very long time, and it's been something that has brought people together in countries all over the world, whether it's Latin America, whether it's Europe, whether it's Eastern Europe. I mean, it's really a worldwide sport. And I got the man with the plan. I have known him, and he is really soccer royalty. And that is Mr. Chris Canetti. Chris, welcome on the show.
Well, thank you, Gilbert. Great to be here.
Yes. Now, Chris, just so y'all know, I got to fanboy him. So before he leaves, and he's got a sharp meeting he's got to go to, so he's going to be leaving us around 11:45. I'm going to have him sign my Dynamo jersey and my FIFA ball that I have from the World Cup last time. But really, Chris, I really mean it. We wouldn't have soccer in this town, and maybe in this country, really, as popular as it is, without you. And I'd like to go back to young Chris. And, of course, you are young, but young Chris, what got you involved with soccer so much? Were you a soccer player, or how did it all happen?
Nope, so young Chris was not involved in soccer. I was a baseball player, played baseball at college, Quinnipiac University.
Oh, how wonderful.
Right up the street from Yale. We beat the Bulldogs my
there you
senior
go.
year. And then I went to work in minor league baseball. And, in fact, I was the general manager of a AA baseball team affiliated with the Seattle Mariners. We played at Yale Field, actually. So soccer was not a thing for me. And I was recruited by the MLS team in New York. At the time, that was called the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, to go work for them. And I thought that there was a big opportunity for me to move from the New Haven market to the New York market to work for a team that played at Giants Stadium and was on the Madison Square Garden network, and you can see the scores on ESPN. I thought it was a jump up, and moving to New York City was going to be my entree to work for the Yankees or the Mets or maybe the Jets or the Giants or the Knicks. But I got involved in soccer. This is back in 2000. And just really fell in love with the sport and saw a fast track up the ladder in MLS because the league was so new at that time. And then in 2006, Alexi Lawless was the president. I was the vice president. We got a call, and we were told that the team was sold to Red Bull, the energy drink. And you know what happens when new ownership takes over. They like to make changes and bring in their own people. So Alexi and myself and many others found ourselves on the outside looking in. And for any Houstonians who remember this, 2006 was the time when the Houston Dynamo launched. So I came to Houston back then to help launch the Dynamo. Alongside Oliver Luck, and so that's what brought me to Houston. Was with the Dynamo for 13 great years, and of course have now been focused on the World Cup here for more than 7 years.
Wow, 7 years! Can you believe it's now here?
No, I can't.
I mean 7 years, and then now. And by the way, I'm happy to report I'm going to 2 games.
Nice.
And we couldn't be more thrilled. I got 4 tickets. I'm taking my daughter, I'm taking my son, because we are big soccer people. But I want to come back to you, though, which is, can you believe it's here?
No.
I mean, all this work is coming to a crescendo, really, here in June.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, I've been working on this since January of 2019. For the first 3.5 years, we were focused on the bid on bringing the World Cup to Houston. We were successful on that, and we were awarded the host city status back in June of 2022. And since then, we've been focused on organizing the event. So it's been a long journey, but it's been a lot of fun. And this is going to be exciting for Houston. I can't wait to see it all come down here.
Well, Houston's thrilled. I want to go back to a couple of things because I know we have, if I'm going too fast, it's only because I want to get so much into this show. And by the way, we're on 5 stations all live right now. And everyone, we've been pumping it up. We've been getting everybody going. We've been running multiple ads on all stations, about 10 or so every day, because we want to talk about FIFA and the whole World Cup. So come back for a second. So when you came to the Dynamos, and first of all, I love the stadium. And of course, I remember when it was built. I remember all those things. Of course, I was chairman of Metro when we got the rail there. Going to a Dynamo game is so much fun. And it is beautiful. It is all green. It is open. And it is plenty of space. There's plenty of food and things around. It's happening. You got those guys that are crazy guys, the fans that are playing the music in the corner. I mean, it's fantastic. It is one of those things that I really feel, and I know that now you're with FIFA, but I know how much you love the Dynamos. It is such a hidden treasure. I think everyone in Houston and Harris County need to really realize, go see the Dynamos. It is fantastic. It is a family fun event. How did you get there? I mean, it was one of those things when, I mean, did you think it was going to be successful? Did you think we would get such a great stadium? Did you know all that was going to happen?
I mean, not really. When I came here 20 years ago to help launch the team, nobody knew what to expect from Houston. I don't think there was some signs and signals that said Houston was a good MLS market. But as you recall, we played the first few seasons over at Robertson Stadium at the campus of University of Houston. But I think when we built this franchise from the beginning, it was important for us to bring a winner to town, which we did. And I think it was important for us to build a brand that said we were right up there with the Texans, Astros, and Rockets. And when you thought about Major League Sports in Houston, there was 4 of us. And there wasn't 3 plus the Dynamo.
That's right.
But we also wanted to differentiate ourselves from the Texans, Astros, and Rockets. And we wanted to make our experience different. And what I used to always say when I was running the club is what makes us different is what makes us great. And if you went to a Dynamo game and it looked like a Texans game or an Astros game or a Rockets game, we haven't done a service, right? So we worked very, very hard to try to create a brand that was different from the rest, while at the same time was Major League. And so I think we accomplished that very early on. Of course, that led to the building of the stadium, which was monumental, opened back in May of 2012. And the sport and the league and the club have just grown quite a bit over the last 20 years.
It's fantastic. And, now sports in general are getting so much more attention, and you're seeing outside investors, whether it's former athletes, whether it's private equity, are getting involved. I think it's got extraordinary growth yet to go. I think we're just now seeing the beginning of where soccer is going to go in Houston, both male and female. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, again, the Houston Dynamo are 20 years old.
Yep.
The Dash are, I think, 12, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas, Major League Baseball, St. Louis Cardinals have been around since the 1800s.
Right, that's right.
New York Yankees have been around forever. So we're just building something here with MLS and the Dynamo and the Dash here in this country. And the World Cup was last year in 1994, 32 years ago. That gave rise to Major League Soccer in 1996. And Major League Soccer has helped grow the game in this country, exponentially. And now we've got another World Cup here this year where we have matured as a soccer nation in the last 30 years. And what will this World Cup do to elevate the sport to even greater heights? I think the challenge is in our country is we are a soccer country. We have, for example, a lot of Houstonians who love the game, especially based on the internationalism and the diversity of our city. Too many of those folks, though, however, will only watch the English Premier League or La Liga or Liga MX or whatever it might be, and they love the game, and they'll tune in on Saturday morning to watch a game from Arsenal or something like that. But we need those folks to convert and make the Dynamo their local team and make them love the Houston team. That's a dynamic that the Astros, Rockets, and Texans don't have to deal with because they're the only league in the world for the most part.
Very interesting. Very interesting dynamic. I never thought of it that way, but I totally get it. And what's interesting is I remember the great Olympics with the women's team and Mia Hamm and all of them. I mean, they really prove that soccer will sell. People will go see soccer, especially women's soccer, because it is exciting. And the thing about soccer to me, and by the way, I have coached 40 seasons of soccer for my boys, all the way from 3 years old to middle school and helping in high school. with 3 different boys. It's one of those games that is fast-paced. It reminds me kind of like basketball, where there's no slowdown. You know, baseball, I love baseball, but it can go very slow. Football, you know, it's only 10-second play, and then they're in the huddle and all this stuff. But soccer, it's nonstop. It's just action, action, action. And I think that's what makes it different from some of these other sports. It's just fantastic. I want to go back to something which is, so you then grew up in New Haven. And of course, I lived in New Haven for a little over 4 years because I went to school at Yale University. And one of the best clubs, I'm going to go off message for a quick second, is a club called Toads. It's been there 50 years. Everyone you can think of has played there, whether it's Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel. I mean, you can name it. And Brian Phelps has been my good friend for a long time. He owns that club, and he told me that one of his only regrets is he turned down Madonna. Because when Madonna was first getting started, they wanted to play Toads, and she only had tapes in the background. And they thought, well, tapes, you don't have any band or anything, so they turned her down. That's the only regret he has. And this is the legendary Toads Place history. And I want to give you this because it is signed by Brian Phelps, and, of course, he says here, keep rocking, Brian Phelps. I want to give this to you because you know what? I think when you read it, it'll bring back a lot of memories for you. And so that's for you. I want to go back to FIFA because tell people a little bit about how it all started when you think about the World Cup. Most people in America don't realize the World Cup has been going on a long time, and it really unites the whole world somehow. And people get passionate about their country and their nationalism and their teams. Talk a little bit about the origin of the World Cup, and then I want to get to how we got it. But just go through the beginning, because I'm not so sure everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for this.
You're
awesome.
welcome.
I love New Haven, and I still consider it home, and excited to bring this home and read it and share it with my wife as well. Look, the World Cup is the greatest sporting event on the planet. I think sometimes as Americans, some people don't quite get that, but this is the largest sporting event in the history of the world, and the version that we're having this summer is the largest of all time. So the World Cup, for the first time, is being hosted in 3 countries, the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. It's being hosted in 16 cities. In Canada, it's Toronto and Vancouver. In Mexico, it's Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Monterrey. And in the U.S., it's Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Miami, Houston, Dallas, Kansas City, L.A., San Francisco, and Seattle. So you have 17 cities in 3 countries hosting these games.
Oh my! I mean, all I heard was wow.
Yeah.
I just heard wow, and my God, how do you put all that together? But keep going. I don't want to stop.
So they've also expanded the tournament. The World Cup in previous years was 32 teams. Now they've expanded it to 48. And when you grow the number of teams, you need to grow the number of matches. So it's expanding from 64 matches to 104 matches, and all this will take place over 39 days. So again, you got 3 countries, 16 cities. 48 countries competing in 104 matches over 39 days. This is a monumental task to pull this all off. You've got, different federal governments, different regional, local, municipal governments running these things. So many different things at play, but somehow, some way, it's all going to be coordinated. It's all going to come together and be, like I said, the largest sporting event of all time. And just tie it back to Houston. We're very fortunate and lucky to be one of the 16 cities that are hosting.
How wonderful. Now, let me ask you this. In the past, can you give me any sense, and if you don't, that's okay, but any sense for how many people watch the World Cup, or how many people go see it in person? Give some bigger than a bread box number.
Yeah, no, I can give you lots of incredible numbers.
Please.
So the last World Cup out of Qatar, 3.5 billion people worldwide tuned in to watch it.
Billion with a B?
Yes, half the world.
Houston, Harris County, can you imagine that? 3.5 billion people.
Wow.
That's staggering. That's essentially, I think the world maybe has, 7 or 8 billion people.
Yep.
That's essentially half the world.
Yes. So the World Cup final, which was an epic game, you might remember it, France and Argentina, had 1.5 billion viewers.
Wow.
Just for that match alone. To help put that in perspective, the last Super Bowl here in the United States had a worldwide audience of 127 million. So 127 million for the Super Bowl championship, 1.5 billion for the World Cup. I'll give you a few
That's
more.
that's like 10 times, 12 times.
Yeah, exactly.
12 times the number of people that watch the Super Bowl. For all of us who think we're going to watch the Super Bowl, it's like it's like a rite of passage, and what commercials are there? Think 12 times more people watch the World Cup final. That's staggering.
Yep.
That's amazing.
So each match from Houston will be viewed by 200 million people worldwide. So again, Super Bowl 127 million, matches from Houston 200 million. So they're all significantly larger than a Super Bowl.
God, and you sound like it's just nothing but a thing. But I mean, it's come on. Don't you ever every now and then just like you have an out of body experience and you say to yourself, "My God, I can't believe it." What we've done in 7 years, what you've done in the 20 years of being involved with soccer. We've come a long way from Quinnipiac baseball, and now you're going to be on the world stage.
Yeah.
My God. Well, let's go back for a second. So the World Cup originated when, and who?
Oh goodness.
And who had, if you remember, and who had someone's fact check that with me if you can, producer. And who had that idea of a big tournament for the whole world? I mean, what a genius idea.
I couldn't tell you the origins of the World Cup. I have to be honest with you.
That's okay.
I don't know all the history.
What a great thing.
But it's a FIFA thing. FIFA has numerous tournaments, men's, women's.
Yep.
The men's World Cup, of course, is the greatest, but they have youth tournaments, you name it. So it's just growing and growing over time to become, like I said, the largest sporting event in the history of the world. There's only 8 or 9 winners all time, believe it or not. So the wealth has not been spread. Brazil's won 5 times.
Wow.
Germany's won 4. Italy's won 4, I think, even though they've failed to make the last few World Cups. So what everybody's wondering, is this the year where somebody new wins it, right? Perhaps Portugal with Ronaldo's last time around, or maybe the Netherlands, who have been to the finals 3 times but never won it. In fact, both of those teams play in Houston, so that creates a little bit more excitement around what's coming here. But the field has been expanded to 48 teams. And now you have teams that are smaller countries, like we have Curacao, Uzbekistan, and countries like that coming, Cape Verde to Houston, who have never played in a World Cup before, that are now going to be a part of it.
Okay, hold on that thought, because we have a caller. Let's go. Who is that caller? And by the way, I see someone here says, how can regular folks like us volunteer? How can people volunteer if they want to help, like the rodeo? Are people, ambassadors at the airport or something? And here's another one. Are there any events apart from the World Cup that Houstonians can participate in? Tailgates, scholarships? Keep those emails coming in.
All right. Well, I can answer both of those.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the opportunity to volunteer has passed.
Okay.
So we've got all of our volunteer positions set up. We have over 5,000 volunteers that are helping us out for this event. So because it's so big, we had to get that done early. The process started back in October. We had over 35,000 people apply to be a volunteer. We ended up interviewing about 15,000 or so and whittled it down to 5,200 volunteers that are now, they've all been given their roles and assignments already. So unfortunately, that window has closed. But as it pertains to other events, the main one that we want everyone to know about and understand is the official FIFA Fan Festival. So that'll be a 39-day event. Basically, if you've been to a World Cup before, you know what this is, but if you haven't, it's a large outdoor viewing party.
So, wonderful.
We will have, we're setting the Fan Festival up in Edo, East Downtown, just south of Shell Energy Stadium. We're taking over several blocks of the city, and there will be a big party to celebrate the World Cup where people from all around the world will come. We're expecting over 500,000 attendees to the FIFA Fan Festival, which will start on June 11 when the first match is played in Mexico City, and go all the way on through to the final match in New York, New Jersey, where the championship's played at MetLife Stadium. So it's free, and we hope Houstonians come out to see all the different things that are going on at the FIFA Fan Festival over those 39 days.
Wow, that is amazing. I congratulate you. We have a caller, though. Was there a caller? Is there an Isabel? Isabel, are you there on the line? I can barely hear you there, Isabel, or producer. I don't know if she's on, but I can barely hear her. Isabel, go for it.
Hi, yes, I had a question for Chris.
Okay, I can barely hear you. Why don't we can you all hear?
Yeah.
Can you hear Chris?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, go for it.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Go ahead. I can barely, but he can. Let's go.
Okay, I was wondering, how is Houston preparing to handle the huge influx of visitors, especially since Houston is really congested just as it is?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's a question we get asked all the time. We are expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 people to come to Houston.
God, that's a whole
for
city.
the World Cup.
That's like 10 cities.
Yeah, so the good news is again, that 500,000 is going to be spread out over the course of 39 days, with most of of that being spread out over 21 days when the 7 matches are played here in Houston. So it will be dispersed. We do have, again, we've been working on this for a very long time. So we've been working with Metro, we've been working with the airports, we've been working with the city, the county, all the different people to put together a transportation plan that are going to get people from the airports to downtown, from downtown to the stadium, from downtown to the fan festival and all other places. So we need to be able to do that without disrupting the normal services that take place for our residents day in and day out. But again, we've got a ton of people working on this. We've got tremendous plans, and we don't think that people will see a big disruption to their lives. Of course, there's going to be traffic on game day around the stadium, but that's no different from the rodeo or a Texans game. But generally speaking, like I said, really good plan. Metro's a key partner here. I know you're familiar with them and all that, really enhancing their service options. And the airports, of course, are finalizing renovations and opening terminals and all this kind of stuff. So we're ready. The city has stepped up in a big way to welcome the world and help Houston shine here over this time.
Well, Houston, Harris County, I can tell you the best way to get there is on the Metro Rail, because please take it. That's what it's there for. It's easy. It goes right on site, and you can get it from now lots of places in the city. And let me tell you, it's going to be lots of traffic, but you know what? It's going to be worth it. And remember, it only happens once every, how many, 30 years?
Well, in the United States,
yes,
32 years.
Every 32 years it comes here. Let's come back for a second, because, Isabel, hopefully we answered your questions unless you have another follow-up. But thank you for calling in. Let's go back for a second, because I just have this feeling when it's all over, it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, this has been such a climax and so long. It's one of those things where it's like, I wonder if you're just going to have like withdrawals, like, oh my God, what happened? It's going to be incredible.
I will have withdrawals. I know that. I can tell you already. Like I said, this is fun. This is exciting. There's a lot of good work going on, and it's going to be such a great thing for our city. And then the final whistle will blow, and it'll be quiet. But so I don't know what's next. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But
it's going to be something great. I can tell you that, though, because you have the experience that few people have in the whole world, which is doing something from scratch, building it to some incredible worldwide item. Hannah, I see that great show, Gilbert. Well, thank you. It's because I have a great guest. Go FIFA. There you go. I like that too, with all those soccer balls. Kind of looks a little bit like eyeballs, but I got it. How can we get media credentials? I don't know. At the end of the day, they're probably all assigned, but we'll just see. Here we go. Carla Gomez says, even though official volunteer positions have been filled, Houstonians can volunteer in multiple sustainability-driven events organized by the host committee. And we have the host committee website there, so we'll have that on my website, and we'll have it everywhere. Hopefully everybody can see that. Let's talk a little bit about the host committee. Yep. And thank you for that, Carla.
Well, there's Carla picking me up right there.
There she is. Thank you for that. Let's go back to this whole effort. So the host committee, what is the host committee?
The host committee is a subsidiary of the Harris County Houston Sports Authority. So I'm guessing most people are by now, after 25 plus years, familiar with the Sports Authority. The Sports Authority does many things, but one of its most important things is bringing major sporting events to Houston: Super Bowls, Final Fours, college football championships, you name it. So the Sports Authority is the institution that's here, the organization that's here all the time. They created the World Cup host committee. So I fall underneath them and their leadership. Ryan Walsh, who's the CEO, Juan Garcia, who's the chairman. So I report up to them and run this sort of separate committee of people. We've got about 25-ish people right now that are waking up every day in the morning, coming into the office, thinking about the World Cup.
Full-time employees?
We're not necessarily employees, vendors,
but
contractors.
Full-time
focus on the World Cup. We've got probably 6-7 agencies who are supporting us on different specialties like the Fan Festival. We've got other partners that are, we could do a whole show on how we have to install a grass field into NRG Stadium. But anyway, the host committee is a nonprofit organization. Talk about it a little bit more high level. We've been put in place by our city and by our county to run the World Cup. We hold the contract with FIFA. It's a ridiculous contract, several hundred pages long, that requires our city to meet many, many standards and obligations to be able to host the World Cup. So we're here to make sure that all those obligations are met and all those standards are in place. Those things cost a lot of money.
Yep.
So we have to make sure it's funded. We have to make sure that these funds are not coming out of the city or the county's annual budgets and things like that. We do have federal support for safety and security. We do have state support through what's known as the Major Events Reimbursement Program, and the rest of it we've had to go out and raise privately through sponsorships and other creative means. But we're making sure this event is paid for and delivered.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
We had someone that just did an email. I want to read that. What is the process to interview the players? Well, first of all, Charlotte, I appreciate that question, but you know what? I want to interview them first, but I get that. We're just all so excited. Anything you can, tell us or tell me later, and I'll tell it on the air, because people are excited.
Well, Carla, who's sitting over here, who answered that last question, is our communications director. So maybe
great.
she can answer that.
Oh, well, I'll have to get your card and everything, or I'm going to have to get you on the show. So we have to figure it all out.
It's not just to address that. It's going to be very, very challenging for media credentials and to interview players. FIFA controls all that. The host committee has no say in that. We're going to have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of media from around the globe descending on Houston to follow these matches, follow these games. FIFA is very particular about the credentialing process and who they allow it to and don't allow it to. So it's going to be a challenge, but Carla could probably at least post what that process looks like.
Wonderful. I want to come back. And by the way, before I forget, some of my good friends at Laredo Taqueria wanted to make sure they gave you some tacos today.
Oh, nice.
Yes, because they have the best carne guisada in town, and I'm not kidding when I say that. And they don't pay me anything for this, other than every now and then they'll give me some tacos.
So I got tacos and a Toads book. I mean,
no place else but Houston, Texas.
So I do this all the time, and I don't get compensated at all. So you're leading the pack.
There you go. That's what we try to do around here. Let's come back for a second because so the host committee started when? 7 years ago itself? When did it start meeting?
I was appointed to my position in late 2018. Mm-hmm. So that was my last season as president of the Houston Dynamo and Dash, and then I started in this role on January 1 of 2019. So I had no idea when I got into this how long this process was going to take or how long I'd be involved. Of course, COVID hit in 2020, mm-hmm. and that really delayed the process. It kind of made it a lot more challenging for FIFA to go through the bidding process, but eventually everything cleared up. And like I said, it was in 2022, June of 2022, when Houston was awarded host city status. So it was a 3.5-year bid.
Wow. Go through what it takes to be a bid. I mean, when you say a bid, I think I have a sense, but I'm not so sure everyone in Houston, Harris County really understand how complex it is. How you have to not only show that you have the desire and the funding and the community support, but you really have the facilities, which means, security, hotels, transportation, stadiums, everything. Just go through a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Yeah, so again, FIFA very clearly lays out, if you want to be a host city, you have to meet a whole set of requirements, right? So to be honest with you, there's not a city in the world that can meet all the requirements. So it's who can do the best to get there, who can upgrade, who can check enough boxes. So to your point, it includes a lot of things. It's very focused on the stadium and what takes place over at that venue, but there are other things around town, like the Fan Fest, like the airports, like the hotels, like the transportation systems, practice facilities, base camps, police, fire, security, the whole thing, and then funding. They want to know, again, if we're going to partner with this city and we're going to force these cities to do all these things to have our event, can they get it funded? So there had to be confidence in that way as well. So they looked at a lot of different things, but those are the headlines.
I want to go back. I just saw a post there. Let's go back to the post because someone says fact check. U.S. and Mexico were part of the original 13 countries that participated in the first World Cup in Uruguay in 1930, where the hosts beat Argentina 4-2 in the final. Thank you so much for that. I can't tell who that is, but thank you very much for that fact check. So let me go back for a second. So when you first get in, you did not know we were going to succeed.
Right.
Right? So really, you took a chance to
Right.
say, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of history. I want to be part of, bringing soccer to the U.S. and Houston. And you took a big chance.
Yeah.
Well, I congratulate you because, number one, it paid off, but number two, for being an entrepreneur, because it really is being an entrepreneur to take chances.
Yeah, so when we started this, the general notion was that Houston was on the outside looking in. At first, they were only going to pick 10 U.S. cities. We ended up with 11 because we're supposed to be 3 in Canada. Montreal dropped out, so I think the U.S. ended up picking up Montreal's spot. But when we were looking at the list of 10 cities, you knew New York, you knew L.A.,
Right.
you knew Miami, you knew Dallas, you knew Atlanta, you probably figured Boston, you probably figured San Francisco, so it felt like there was 3 slots left, right? So Houston was really in competition with other cities such as Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Cincinnati, Nashville, Denver, Kansas City, Seattle, those types.
And
right?
those are all great cities.
Yeah.
And they are all, and a lot of those on the East Coast would be high proximity to New York. And, I don't know if that makes it more
Yeah.
attractive to all be kind of in a regional thing. But at the end of the day, it's incredible that we did that. So let me just, I don't want to answer for you, but you submit information in, and then do you have an interview process? Do they come down and look around? I mean, what happens?
Yeah. I mean, you go through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of it had to happen via Zoom
Mm-hmm.
because of the pandemic. But I'll tell you a good story. Yeah, you send everything in. You have to show how you're gonna have a pathway to compliance and all the different things that they require. So we spend a lot of time on that. Again, around the stadium, around the practice facilities, around again safety and security, transportation, you name it. How we're going to install the grass pitch. All these things we had to show them. We were going to give them confidence we were going to get there. We had everything that it took. That's one of the things we figured out early is that Houston wasn't falling short. Great stadium, great airports, great transportation system, hotels. We had everything. It's just a matter of convincing FIFA and telling the story about Houston so that they would pick us. And ultimately we did. But the funny story is, or the good story is, when COVID cleared up and FIFA started making its site visits, they were only going to make one visit to every city. Originally, it was going to be multiple. And then the way it had to play out was you had one chance over the course of about 36 hours to sell your city to FIFA. So they picked their date when they were coming to Houston. They flew in on a private jet with a delegation of probably about 50 people to look at the stadiums, all the stuff I mentioned, the airports, the hotels, the practice facilities, and we had 36 hours to convince them that Houston was it. And the one date they selected in 2021 was the date when the Astros hosted the Braves in Game 1 of the World Series.
Oh, my goodness.
So we were able to bring FIFA to a major sporting event in our city. No other city got that chance, so it was a good stroke of fortune there. I'm not sure many of them understood what they were watching when they were watching a baseball game, and it really wasn't a good night for the Astros. They got beaten pretty badly. But it was a great night for us to be able to show them the energy of a big event, how the logistics work, and all that kind of stuff. It really we brought a lot of celebrities up into the suite that were there that night. So it was a great night, and it certainly helped along the way.
Wow, it sounds like it was destiny somehow.
Yes.
Really, that's incredible. Well, I want to come back for another second because, and so the host committee has been working on this. When you do it, there's a big thick packet, I'm sure. There's an RP or something. And then you go into the contract. Go back to something because you mentioned all these cities, 3 different countries on the North America, South America, the whole, the Americas. It's never been done like that before?
Not really. I mean, if you just look at it's been done in different variations, but not like this. So if you look at the last World Cup, it was in Qatar. And all of the Qatar in an area about the size of Harris County. They had all these 8, 9 stadiums in one place. They had one fan festival. They had one government that was ruling over how all this went. So, it was done in Russia, where it was very spread out over a big country. It was done in Brazil, where it was spread out over a big country. The last time it was in multiple countries was in Korea, Japan in 2002. So this is completely new territory and all the different things that they have to do to have it in 3 countries covering such a huge area.
So you had to, at the very beginning, we have I'm keeping track. We have another caller real quick, and I'm being very mindful of your time. And don't forget, I want you to, And of course, I got to fanboy him. So I've got my Dynamo jersey and I got my FIFA ball from the last World Cup. So I want you to sign it. But we have another caller. Is there let me see that name again. Natalia. Is there a Natalia there?
Hi, Gilbert. I'm here.
You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip from me, with Mr. Chris Canetti, the man with a plan, FIFA Cup local president here, founded the Dynamos Dash. You got it. What do you have for us?
Hi, Mr. Canetti. So I heard you mention that there's going to be a watch party in downtown. I was wondering how the Houston World Cup is going to plan to involve the local small businesses during the event, and if not that event specifically, like how else could a small business get involved with the World Cup?
Oh, how wonderful.
No, great question. Yeah, it's going to be in East Downtown is where we're going to be hosting the fan festival. But again, we've been working on this for a long time, and from the outset, we have had a very primary initiative to make sure that a lot of this economic impact goes to small businesses. So we've been working very closely. We've had workshops and we've had open houses where we've invited small businesses out to learn about the various types of needs that we have as a host committee. As you can imagine, again, we're, I think, 69 days out from the first game, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of this business has been given out already, right? The contracts have been set. But we went through a great process to, like I said, to the best of our ability to communicate and make aware to small businesses the opportunities that were out there, to include them in the process of engaging in RFPs and ultimately is awarding as much of that business to local businesses as possible. But for the most part, we're closing a lot of that out now because, again, it's crunch time. We're here.
Stay with me, Natalia. So I want to ask you then, what is, if you have a number, and this is not a quiz here, but just in general, what is the economic impact that we think it'll have, in Houston or Harris County?
Yeah, we're working to do an updated one. We have a little bit of an old one that was done well before we knew which teams were coming to Houston. But the old economic impact is $1.5 billion. So we are refreshing that. But I can put that in an easy perspective for everybody. The last Super Bowl in 2017 that was here had an post-economic impact, meaning they did the study on real stuff, not projections. Came out to $347 million. One game is the Super Bowl with maybe 3-4 days worth of events leading up. So we have 7 matches. It's the World Cup. It's not the Super Bowl. And we have a 39-day fan festival. So when you take all that into account and the visitors and the different equations that are used, that's how the original projection came to $1.5 billion. So again, we're refreshing that because we now have, that was done before we knew Germany, Portugal, the Netherlands, right? All these different things. So
the big teams.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that have won so many times in the past.
Yeah, and travel fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what about here in the U.S. entirely? Do we have a sense
I don't think I know what that is. I haven't seen that.
I mean,
number.
it's got. I mean, think about it. If we're 1.5 to 2 billion, and we're in how many cities?
In the U.S., 11 cities.
I mean, that's humongous. I can't even do that math.
Yeah,
other than it's a lot.
Aside from the matches in cities, a lot of these teams are coming in and they're base camping in other cities. So, for example, Germany is coming in and they're going to have a base camp in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at Wake Forest University. That alone probably has a $25-35 million economic impact to that community because their hotels and their fans and their media and everybody. So it goes even beyond the host cities where this economic impact is coming from.
We manage money for the city of Winston-Salem, wonderful city. It's going to be dynamite for them because it's not a big city.
Right.
And of course, to have all that might be the biggest thing that's ever happened to that city ever. How incredible. Well, I got a little surprise for you. Can we tee up that? Of course, everyone knows the famous cheer by the famous radio announcer. Let's just play that real quick. Hold on. Producer, hopefully we got it.
Goal!
That's my version.
There you go.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia
No.
of A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer.
Go back to his version one more time.
Golazo!
And now do me. Goal! I don't know. What do you think? I
I think you got a future.
I'm giving him a run for his money. So hopefully Houston, Harris County, y'all got a view of that. So, and by the way, I had to practice like 10 times on that thing because my voice was going, I was straining and then it started to crack. But real quick, let me see what I got. So, we got about 5 more minutes. Well, it's Houston, Harris County, we got about 5 more minutes because our guest has to leave. And then, of course, when he leaves, I'm going to continue for the last 15 minutes. I'm going to do the prayers that we always try to do. It is Talk Inspiration Prayer. I want to talk about the No Kings Marches. I want to talk about our future guests. And what we've got to do probably is some sort of, if possible, another build-up to the World Cup. If possible. I don't know if that means you. It would be great if it's you because you're being listened to by everybody all over Houston, Harris County, including Latino Sports, which, of course, is a big 100,000-watt station, et cetera. You probably know them. And then we probably should have a post after the World Cup. What did it all mean? You know, what did it mean for Houston, Harris County as the momentum continues to build to bring soccer as part of the culture here of Houston and Harris County? So if you're game, let's talk all about that because I think that would be great. So let me say, you know, what do you think that success would mean for you, meaning that you would say at the end of this glorious ride, and I say ride, here we again, small businesses and the community at large can use this resource about all the ways to get involved. Okay, we've got that too. We'll put that on there. Thank you, Carla Gomez. You know, how do you measure success? You know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now in your life, when you look back and say, you know, I did that, what are you looking to really achieve?
Yeah, nothing, personally, I don't really have that in mind, but I can tell you from our host committee perspective and from the city's perspective, as I mentioned before, how when we started this thing back in 2019, Houston was on the outside looking in. What we're hoping to use this World Cup as a platform to change that, where we can now be seen right up there with New York, LA, Miami, you know, the bigger branded cities in our country.
Let's go, Houston, Harris County. Let's make that happen.
You know, again, so we weren't there. Now we've got the biggest platform ever, with the largest sporting event in the history of the world coming to our city, 500,000 visitors, 200 million people per match worldwide watching, billions of impressions from other sources. How do we put Houston in the shop window here to change that image? Not that we have a bad image, but just to make sure that it's a more positive, propped up image of our city. And everybody's working hard to do that, whether it's the host committee, the city, the county, again, our partners at the police, the fire, the sheriff's office. Many just private businesses on their own. You know, we saw a statistic the other day that there's dozens and dozens of different organizations who are investing millions and millions of dollars just to fix things, clean up streets, just make everything as best as it can be so that Houston can be seen in its best light. That's one. Another one real quickly is legacy. So we've had, from day one, why do you have these events? Again, we're a nonprofit organization. We're not going to make any money from this. So we just want to make sure that we're making a positive, long-lasting impact on our community. So we've got lots of legacy programs around growing the game of soccer, around defending human rights, protecting the environment, and things like that. And we're hoping 10 years down the road, some of the things that we've done through this World Cup, after the final whistle's blown and everyone's gone home, are still positive things here in our community.
Wow. You know what? If that were to happen, you would be a real hero to this community.
Well, thank you.
Because it's a big deal. And it will have a lasting impact in this community for the next 25 years, 30 years, maybe forever, just because it's going to put Houston, Harris County on the world stage. The whole world is going to descend on Houston.
That's right.
To really see how is this city, what do we do, and we can really showcase our rich diversity, all the things that we have, the arts, the sporting events, all the universities, all the great, our medical center, all the things that make Houston incredible, we're going to be able to say to the entire world. And you know what? I really think that everyone knows I ran for mayor, and this is not a pitch for mayor, but I've always felt that Houston needed to become a world-class city, to be in the same breath as New York, London, Paris, Munich, all these, Berlin, all these great world-class cities that you think of, Madrid. We need to be in that same sentence. And we are so perfectly positioned because if you think about the United States between the two oceans, Houston's right in the center. And if you think about it, we're here in the South where there is great weather, and we have the gateway to Central South America. We are perfectly positioned for this event, and you are the man that's making it happen. And we can't thank you enough. Before you go, I sure hope you sign my ball and my jersey. Just put, anywhere, and put on there. Of course, I want to remember this. World Cup, Houston, and the year we have here, 26. And hopefully get him right side in this, because this is historic, because we're going to look back and we're going to say, what an incredible event. And this gentleman was there from the beginning and made it happen. I salute you. I feel like doing what's that old movie, Gladiator? Gladiators, we salute you, because I really mean it.
Brad Ching?
Yes.
Is this Brad Davis?
Yes.
All right.
I'm so grateful to you. And I know that you be here, but you've got to boogie. Thank you for taking the time out. I know that you're seeing some very key people that are part of the community, and you took time out to visit with Houston Harris County here on the radio. I'm going to give you my card here again.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. I'll be glad to come back and do it again.
We want you. We want you.
And make sure Carla's with us so we can get the good information out to everybody.
So I'm giving you my card because it has my cell phone number.
Right.
Call me anytime, 24/7. I'll send you the pictures, everything else. Carla, I know you've got to go.
Yeah.
I want to say
Thank you,
my friend.
Thank
it
you.
was a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Please take this.
This is awesome.
Yes.
Thank
And so Houston Harris County Fishermen, go ahead and make your way. I know you got to leave.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. You got it. Houston Harris County, again, give it up for Mr. Chris Canetti, right? He's the man with a plan. He's bringing soccer here. And man, when I hear those stats, Houston Harris County, I just am I am amazed at what impact all the people involved. And of course, this show is called Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. And so I just want to go through two quick prayers. One I got from, I believe, Miss Georgia Provost again, and another one I got from Miss Martinez, who's at Corpus Christi Catholic Church and the school there. She always worked with my kids. And one of them is a Easter Sunday good morning prayer. So it says, let us rejoice today, Easter Sunday. Good morning. May your basket overflow with joy, your heart with peace, your home with love and happiness, and your life with renewed hope, faith, and strength. Always. God bless you and your loved ones. So that's a nice one. That's for Easter. And this is meant to be one that is when your times are tough. So let me read this. Lord, I bring to you my burdens, and you know my situation. You know many times in my life I have struggled and needed you to get me through. You always brought comfort to my heart, gave me the strength and the will to carry on. I pray that you will watch over those family and friends who are struggling right now and help them through their difficult times. Amen.
Amen.
And Houston, these are difficult times. I know a lot of people are struggling out there, and I know that. And of course, things are difficult all over the world. We wake up every day and wonder, what's going to happen next? What country's next that we're going to have a conflict with? What's next? They say that, Greenland, we're going to try to take over Greenland. I don't know if that's still there or not. We're going to try to take over Cuba. I don't know if that's there or not. Of course, there's the war going on in Iran, and there are, service people that are now losing their lives. And I don't know what's going to happen here in 24 hours. The president said we're going to, I don't have the quote here, but essentially obliterate all the roads, bridges, and infrastructure. I sure pray that does not happen. I sure hope that cooler heads prevail and that we reach some sort of agreement, because in reality, the only thing that will happen is so many people will suffer. Innocent people over there that are just not involved in the government, that are not involved in things, and they're just trying to go out about their lives. And it would just be awful to have them suffer so. Just like what's happening in Ukraine, We've got to bring it all together, Houston, Harris County, and the world, which is we've got to work together. There's only one planet. There's only one race. It's the human race. And we've got to work together to keep this planet going and to keep society going so our kids will have a brighter future. And that's really what it's all about. I want to go back to my goal because I love that. And I think there's another caller coming in. And again, if you have any comments about our guests, feel free to call in. Let's do that goal one more time. Start. Wait. I'm not ready. You went too fast. Go back to the main guy and ready. Let's do him first, and then let's stop, and then let's do me next. Go. Now that's pretty good. Stop there. So I don't know how many seconds that was, but it seems like that was a lot of seconds. Now let's hear me and Gilbert Garcia's version. Well, actually, hold on. We have another caller here. Is there a Daisy there?
Hi, Gilbert. This is Daisy. Can you hear me?
I can. What do you got for me? A tip from me, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. We just had an incredible show with Mr. Chris Canetti, who has been really, I'm just going to call it like it is. He's like the godfather of soccer here in Houston, Harris County. That's what we should start calling him because he's the one that brought the Dynamos here, and he was head of the Dash, and now he brought FIFA. This has been his life's work and legacy. What do you got for us?
Great show, Gilbert. I am tuning in from downtown, and I want to let you know that we are enjoying listening to what's going to happen in Houston. We can't wait for the game. Thank you so much for bringing Chris to the show. Great information that he's been sharing. Just to let you know, we wanted to sign up to be volunteers for FIFA, and it's been a long, lengthy process. We signed up back in October last year, and we're still in the process.
My goodness.
There's millions of people. They told us that 1 million people sign up to become volunteers. So we are excited for what's going to happen in Houston, the economy and all the job creation. So thank you so much for a great show.
Well, thank you. That's incredible to think about 1 million people wanting to volunteer, and to how do they vet all those people and go through them and interview them and all those things? I have no idea. But at the end of the day, that's incredible. I sure hope you can volunteer because it would be a life-changing experience. So I'm rooting for you. And again, Houston,
Yes.
Harris County, tickets are still available. I know they may be pricey, but you know what? It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. And even then, if you can't make it, go to the Fan Festival. And if it's there in Edo, which, of course, is right there on East Downtown, there's got to be things just all over the place to be involved in. So I sure hope everybody goes. I know I'm going to go. It reminds me of when you go to in the NFL and the Major League Baseball have the World Series and the Super Bowl here. They always have that fan fest. And I've been to those things, and they're super fun. And so, once again, make sure you go, Houston and Harris County, because it will be a blast. Family fun event. Go ahead there, Daisy. What else you got?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So finally, I just got a email back last week, and I was accepted to participate out of the 1 million people. So I'm excited, Gilbert, to be part of the game, and I can't wait to welcome all the visitors in the city of Houston.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just want to go through Houston and Harris County, who we're going to have on the show coming up, because we have next week, April 13th, the county clerk, Tanisha Hudspeth. And, of course, she has been fantastic. I do not know her, but she has been fantastic because we have had nothing but elections after elections after elections after elections, and they have all come off just great. So she's going to talk all about the elections, which she oversees. I may have a special guest, which is a new council person who's been at the forefront of really trying to separate everything going on with ICE from the Houston Police Department. And then, of course, I'm going to have my right hand and good friend and partner, Ruby Dang, be the guest host because my wife and family are going to be in Peru. And so we're going to be out of the country, but that's April 13th. And then we're going to have Mr. Evan Mintz. Evan is a great guy. So he's going to be on the 30th. He's the editorial editor for the Houston Chronicle. He's been part of the editorial board before, now is the editor. So he's the one that writes a lot of the editorials. He's the one that chooses a lot of the things that are written by the Chronicle as opinion pieces. He's really brilliant. And so he's going to be on the show on the 20th. And then we're going to have Christian Menifee. Of course, Christian is now our new member of Congress, represented in CD 18, and he's going to be on the air April 27th. And we've had him before. He's a fine gentleman. And then after that, we're going to have Anise Parker. We're going to be talking about elections and what's going to be coming up with elections. She's going to be on May 4th. Of course, she is a candidate for the runoff for the Democratic nomination for Harris County Judge. And then we'll have Dwight Jefferson. I'm bringing him back because Dwight Jefferson will be on May 11th. And Dwight, of course, was on last week. Which games are you going to watch? Natalia wants to know. At the end of the day, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to find out and I'm going to report next time. But I'm going to be on a Friday night and on a Saturday night. But thank you for asking me. The next is Dwight Jefferson, as I mentioned. He's coming back because he and I were going to talk all about Metro and really dispel these myths about things that are just not true. When they talk about, the Post Oak line is a failure. Well, it is because they didn't do it right. They didn't do it where the train doesn't go through the lights. They're stuck in traffic, so it takes a long time. Everyone knows you got to go through the lights because people need to get point to point as fast as possible. And of course, Metro did not build that. They did not design that. It was Uptown Houston. Metro is just doing the service. And then, of course, Metro was supposed to be feeding people into both of the transit centers on the north side and the south side, and then it's supposed to then connect going up and down. But, of course, the powers that be had other plans. And, of course, now the city is really taking transit away from the community and is using the money that was meant to be for transit and meant to connect the bus line with all the rail over here. Until you connect them, they're not going to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, we're going to talk all about it because now they're using the money to do things that the city of Houston should pay for, which are just road repair. We know how important that is, but the citizens voted twice to get Metro more money for more transit. Twice. One time under my tenure and another one under Ambassador Coram Patman's tenure. And with ours, we won with almost 80% of the vote. And I believe on hers it was almost 70% of the vote to get Metro more money for transit. So Dwight Jefferson and I are going to go all through it on May 11th. Then, of course, you heard Chris Canetti. Hopefully we'll be getting him back on to talk more about the FIFA and all the things both right before and right after, so we can really pump it up. So I know we've got just a few more minutes. I think we got like 1 or 2 more minutes. So Houston, Harris County, just remember, people are going through hard times. So please, if you see somebody, give them a hug. Smile at people on the road. Remember, we're all in this together. When you see people, at a red light, just give them a smile. When you see someone there that's having a hard time, see if you can help them. At the end of the day, it's our community. We're all here together. And let's just be nice to our neighbors. Because, you don't know what they're going through. And these are difficult times. And they're going to probably get harder because gasoline prices are probably going to go even higher. People say it may hit here in Houston $5, $6 a gallon. I don't know if that's true, but at the end of the day, I know what that means to everyday people in their lives and what it means to everything else. And so please hang in there and remember, we are on live every Monday from 11 to 12, and then we are, of course, rebroadcasting on every Saturday night on some of our TV stations, on our public broadcasting. So this is Gilbert Garcia saying, thank you very much for listening. And this is a tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. And we will see you next time. All right, Houston, Harris County, this is Gilbert Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. We're going to now be on television. We will air every Saturday on Comcast 17, AT&T Channel 99, Phonoscope Channel 96, Suddenlink 99, and also hmstv.org. Every new episode every Saturday at 7 p.m. And follow me on social media. See you then.